This is Coach Bala here. Did you all miss me? I know that I'm coming back after a couple of weeks. Apologies for missing out in between. I think the first week I got a little sick, could not get to it. Throat was having some issue. And then the second weekend was the rendezvous weekend where we all went there, as you probably would have known. So couldn't get to it. So this weekend, I'm here a little early. And I want to give you a little longer message, given that we are towards the business end of the season. You all have finished your peak mesocycle, are about to finish tomorrow. This is on Friday, I'm recording. So a momentous point of your season journey, which is finishing of peak mesocycle. A bulk of the training will be completed in terms of the miles. Of course, race is there. You still have some distance to go. And some of you have already done your runs and races. So this is a very special, interesting time. I just wanted to start by congratulating all of you to be here at this point in the season. Congratulations, folks. So I have three very important messages to talk about and for you all to think about. But before that, let me give you a little bit about the Rendezvous Weekend. Rendezvous Weekend is a retreat, the first time we have done this. And we have, it was a vision that we had for a long time, which is to take some runners and go to an exotic place, spend a weekend, do some activity, and then connect and use that activity to have more connections. That's the basic idea of a runner's high. And boy, what a weekend it was. What a great start. Beautiful location in Poconos. 52 incredible folks from different places came. And we had an Olympic themed event, 4 captains competing against 6 games for the first prestigious Rendezvous Rolling Cup, which was won by team captain Karan and his team. And yours truly was also part of the team, though I didn't really contribute much. But it was an exciting time, and we are putting together a video of that, and I'll share with you. Please take a look at it so that you all can vicariously enjoy the sheer pleasure and fun we all had together. We are hoping that we'll do this every year, and we will have more and more participation from our runners. The idea here is it's that one event per day, per year, where all of us can come together and just enjoy our company, each other's company, each other's health, and do something really cool and have a memory that'll last a lifetime. So that's the idea. So thank you all for coming in. Thank you all for the volunteers who made this happen. So today I want to touch on 3 very important things, given the state that you all are in. The first one I want to double click on is the foundation of Runner's High itself, the name of our group, that all of you would have experienced it in very different ways. So I want to go a little deeper onto that. What really is happening? How do you dial into the runner's high, and what's happening in your body and mind? The second thing I want to touch on is about this philosophical question: who is your competition? As the race day is approaching, I know some of you are going to run the races this weekend, some next weekend, and then our New Jersey season-ending race day is happening on the 25th, October 25th, the Saturday. I hope you all are signed up for it. So, of course, competitive spirit will come in. So I just want to talk about who really is your competition. It's very important that you understand that, think about it, so that you don't snatch defeat from the jaws of victory on the race day. And then finally, I want to also touch a little bit of a topic that is also critical, which is the downside of a strong mental strength, which is all a little bit of, should I say, oxymoron kind of statement, which is mental strength is always good. And what am I talking about? The downside of it. But it's important that we understand that too. So 3 meaty topics. I'll try to make it 3-4 minutes each so that overall we are still not too long. So the first one is runner's high. So runner's high is, as probably you would have realized and you would have experienced it, it is a physiological, it's a medical thing that happens in your body. It's a very real thing. It's not something that's imaginary. And this runner's high is very addictive because something happens in your body and something happens in your brain because of what we are undergoing. And of course, this high can happen in many different facets of your life, but we experience it a lot more during running, and that's why it's called runner's high. So I would say that there are 4 stages of runner's high. And essentially what really happens is in these 4 stages, 4 specific hormones, I call it the happy hormones, are released in your body. And the reason why I'm talking about that is if we know about it, then we can harvest it and get the best out of that. There is something that you can be on top of, and we all want to be happy. We all want to be in a state of bliss. It feels good, isn't it? So what happens then? So Let's go back to the beginning of your season when all of us just sign up for something hard, something exciting. This is a really an exciting thing. It's signing up for something new, getting into a new college, getting into a new job, the first day at your work, or first day of your season, or the act of signing up. Especially the new runners would have experienced it. Hey, I've signed up for a coach led new program that's going to take me to a 5K, 10K, or any distances that heretofore not even thought about in my life. So that's a big step that I've done in my life. That very fact that you did that, something happens in your body. You feel good about it. Even though it's only a momentary sense of happiness, it's a very short lived happiness, but still it's a happiness. It's an instantaneous gratification, which we all get when we look at social media posts and somebody says a like or respond to your post. You feel that in Strava, for instance, right? That's a very momentous thing. That's because of this hormone called dopamine. The dopamine gets injected somewhere in your bloodstream. It goes into your brain and it gives you sort of sparks of happiness that will last for some time, but a very instantaneous for maybe a couple of minutes, maybe a little bit more, and it dissipates. But you constantly want to seek such dopamine, instant gratification stuff. In our running parlance, that's what you all would have experienced right at the beginning of signing up, or even maybe the first run you did. The first time you did in this structured training, you came back and you felt, I did something great today. That was just an instantaneous dopamine hit that happens, and that's a form of runner's high as well. But it's short-lived. It doesn't stay for long. But as you continue, let's say you run for a couple of weeks, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3 weeks maybe, you start sweating. When you go and do a stride run or you pick up a little pace and you finish and you have that sweat and your t-shirts are drenched and you come home, you feel really good about what you just now did. You've been doing it for 3 weeks. The habit has been set up, and every time you finish the 3 weeks and check the box after 3 weeks, still it is fresh. Something that you're doing is still fresh in your mind, but you've been doing it for 3 weeks and you can see physical impact of what you've done for 3 weeks, whether it's in the form of sweat or maybe a little tightening of your body, or you feel good. Your body is like, you picked up a little pace in base pace. Some of you are walking and, running mix. There's a little bit extra running you can do. So there are some tangible benefits and tangible improvements that can happen as you do this. And that is because of the next level of happy hormone that gets injected in your body, which is called as the endorphin. Now, endorphin happens when you do something. Not just when you sign up. When you do something, you get an endorphin hit. And it stays a much longer time than dopamine, which is an amazing thing, and we all went through it. But then, as you continue this for a couple of months, 2 months, 2.5 months, 3 months into the program, you are now in a different state. You've gone through the initial freshness, and in fact, maybe there's a little bit of boredom that comes in. You get over that as well. And you continue to keep doing it, and you start seeing the beginning of long-term impact to your mental and physical structure. When that happens, you are into the third stage of happy hormone, the runner's high hormone, called as the serotonin. Serotonin gets injected into your body, and serotonin gives you an antidepressant kind of a feeling. It stays for a longer time. You feel really good about yourself for a long period of time. You finish your run today, you will feel great for next 3-4 days, and that's also runner's high, and that's where you all are probably right now, especially the new runners. You are in that serotonin phase where there is a bit of an addiction that is developing, a positive addiction. An addiction of antidepressant addiction. And that's why suddenly when we inject a rest week, for instance, you are like, your body is filled with serotonin right now. You want that antidepressant kind of injection on a regular basis, and suddenly you feel a little depressed. Hey, man, I'm not doing anything. What the hell? Even though your body is taking rest. That is also the next phase, where around the 5 to 8 weeks of training is when you are in the serotonin phase. But you know what, folks? We really need to be in the final phase of runner's high, which is the oxytocin. And the oxytocin, the way I saw one doctor explain, is oxytocin is the state of self-love. That you've been doing so well for so long that now you don't need anybody else's pat on the back for you to feel good. You know you're doing well. Begin to like what you're doing. You begin to like yourself. That self-love. That self-love is a very powerful way of runner's high, where once you reach that stage, you are in a state of self-sustaining rhythm. Folks who have been here for 5 seasons, 6 seasons, and above have been reached that stage of oxytocin where you know what you want to do. You are confident about what you're doing. You like the rhythm. You enjoy the state of bliss that constantly doing something difficult offers you. Now, at this stage of oxytocin, this stage, the final stage of runner's high, what happens is your body is also in great shape because you've been doing this for now 3 months or multiple seasons for many people. And as a result, things that were kind of a speed breaker in the beginning, some niggles here, there, some pain out there, a little bit of laziness, all of that is sorted out. Now you are in a rhythm where you don't need anyone, you are in a self motivating cycle, a positive spiral, oxytocin led positive spiral. So if you think about it, folks, this runner's high itself comes in different stages. The dopamine hit, the endorphin stage, the serotonin stage where you are against antidepressant kind of a scenario, and finally the steady state, self-love stage of oxytocin. And I hope that all of you are in that stage. By the time you get to the race day, you all are hopefully in the oxytocin state where you are not seeking momentary spikes of happiness, momentary spikes of runner's high. You are in the elevated platform, an elevated medium where you look at life as if it's a beautiful thing that's in front of you. As you go for a run, you don't look at how hot it is or how rainy it is or how cold it is. You look forward to the very opportunity of just being outside in your two legs, being fit mentally and physically, and doing things that a large portion of the population are not doing. And you are doing it because you want to do it. You are doing it because you believe in this journey. You are doing it because you're doing it for yourself. The me time, the me impact. And that, in my mind, is the true runner's high with Bala and with so many of your coaches and with so many of your fellow runners that we are seeking to not only achieve but stay in that zone. Hope that makes sense, folks. I wish you all the very best for getting into that oxytocin stage. Once you get into the oxytocin stage, it becomes easier and easier to remain in that stage and become an amazing human being, because when you are in a positive state of mind, filled with happiness, you can then spread that happiness, spread that positivity to other people. And when you do that, you become an amazing human being. Hope all of that makes sense. Second message for this weekend. This is about who is your competition. As you're approaching race day, if I ask you the question, who is your competition? There are many answers to it. But you know what? What I really want you to focus on, that you are really competing against you 3 months ago, 6 months ago, maybe even a couple of years ago. You are competing against yourself. Competition is important. That gets the best out of you. But knowing whom you're competing, you're not competing against the race course. You're not competing against the friend that you started off with. You're not competing against your spouse. You're not competing against your friends that are running along with you in your cohort. You are not competing against anybody. You are competing against yourself many months ago, many years ago. Now, if I just talk about myself, when I was 21 years, I was in a paramilitary college. But I can confidently tell you that my current cardiovascular strength, aerobic capacity, aerobic strength, when I compare myself with the paramilitary Bala, who was in a paramilitary college, I would say I'm at least 2x or 3x better than what I was at that time. That's like, I don't know, 3 decades ago. That I find that I've won that competition and I'll continue to win that competition. And that is really what you need to be thinking about as you enter race day. Because when you are in a race day and when you think that I need to hit, I don't know, call it 2 hours, 30 minutes for a half marathon, and you go and finish a race and you get it 2 hours, 35 minutes. Have you lost? Have you failed? Is that the thought process you will have? You might get that, trust me. There is a lot of disappointment that can happen when you miss your own set goal of couple of minutes, missed by a couple of minutes. But you know what? That comes under the bucket of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Because that is when you need to think and ask yourself, what was I doing 3 months ago, 6 months ago? Do you think the 6 months ago yourself was able to complete a half marathon in 2 hours, 35 minutes? 99% of the cases, the answer will be no. You've defeated that person, square. You have defeated that person. And that is the true success. Remember, getting PRs every race, PR, in case you haven't heard of till now, which would be surprising if you haven't heard of, but in case you haven't heard of, PR is your personal record. D is something that we all go for. It's something, it just gives us maybe the dopamine hit whenever we hit the PR. It just gives you a dopamine hit, and that is pretty much it. It's a very small couple of days max you will feel good. I don't even think couple of days. Maybe it's just a couple of hours, and that's pretty much it. But the real oxytocin hit when you finish the race is when you look back and compare yourself, how you have done compared to yourself many years ago. That realization is what gives you the oxytocin hit. And that is why we are here. And that's the competition that we are against. Keep that in mind. Who is your real competition? And finally, let us talk about the third part, the mental strength. As you continue to train, starting from beginning, as you continue to train, there are two things that are happening. Imagine this is mental strength and this is physical strength. Left hand is mental strength, right hand is physical strength of yours. When you start, both of them are at the bottom. As you start training, both starts increasing. But initially, your physical strength increases much faster than your mental strength. Initially, let's call it the first 3-4 weeks. Because you're still mentally, like, it's giving you all kinds of messages. I can't do this pain is there, that pain is there, weather is bad, office work is too much. It'll give you all kinds of reasons in the first 3, 4, 5 weeks to make sure that it's trying to protect you. Essentially, it's trying to protect you. It doesn't know otherwise because it hasn't seen otherwise. But after you pass a certain point, maybe 5-6 weeks, you start to believe that you can do it. And that is when your mental strength starts developing. It is like this, mental strength is the increase in mental strength is lower than the increase in physical strength. But after 5-6 weeks, this starts going up and you suddenly reach a point around the time that you all are in where the mental strength increases a lot more than the physical strength increase, which is good in one way because you need strong mental strength to do big things. But it is also bad in another way, which is mentally when you become too strong and your physical strength hasn't caught up, it will force you to do things even though you are under pain or even though your body is not ready for it. Or in other words, you will stop listening to your body. Your mind will push. You will have a niggle on your foot, on your knee, on your thigh. But you'll say, you know what, I can go for it. I can make it happen. There's no gain without pain, and let me push through it. The act of pushing through it is because you're mentally so strong that you can do that, which is a very dangerous situation because when you have very strong mental strength and it is not in parity with your physical strength, then you mentally will push your body to the limits and thereby it will cause injury. And as a result, the whole thing will start crumbling down. So the whole thing gets messed up. So we need to realize that at this phase of your training cycle, mental strength is everything. You got to control your mental strength. It's important, but you need to control it by simply listening to your body. Don't listen to your mind, listen to your body. If your body is communicating with you and it is telling you that, hey, I'm having this struggle, I'm having this pain, think through the pain that you're having and accordingly act. Accordingly act to ensure that you are able to run within yourself. That's the message, folks, for today. 3 simple messages. Runner's high, the ultimate runner's high is the oxytocin-led self-love phase. You get it through 4 stages: dopamine, endorphin, serotonin, and finally the oxytocin phase. Make sure that you get to that stage and enjoy that stage. Self-love. You become an amazing human being. The second message is about who really is your competition. You're competing against yourself X period in the past. That's all you're doing. Never snatch defeat from the jaws of victory on the race day and beyond. And finally, so that's the mental phase. And finally, the mental strength. When you have super high mental strength, which is towards the end of the season, be careful. Don't allow the mental strength to push you beyond your physical ability and thereby resulting in an injury. So listen to your body. Make sure you do all the right things. All the very best for those of you who are doing a race this weekend. My next message, we will talk about the race day strategy. In the meanwhile, make sure you sign up for New Jersey Race Day. Those of you who, even if you're running races outside beyond the race day, you can use the race day as your training. Even otherwise, if you have finished the race, you can still come to the race day and just enjoy our season finale. All of us will be there. Many coaches will travel from their place to see the runners. We have for our HWB, by our HWB race. We have a sumptuous lunch we'll be providing. So it's a good time to connect with people, just have a great time in a beautiful fall course that we know that it's always been a good fun time. Okay? All the very best, folks. I'll see you guys soon.